after about a month off, at least that's what it feels like. NHL playoff hockey's back, Justin Pooni.
In
You
like
excited?
2 days?
Sunday. Sunday was the
Sunday
Kraken and the
was no, it
Stars,
was
game
Monday.
7.
Monday.
That was Sunday.
Game 7 was Monday.
That was Sunday.
It's Monday.
Sunday.
Let's ask Stevie Psihogios.
Steven Psihogios joining us right now. NorthStar Bets. This is thrilling television we got going on right here. Was it Sunday or Monday?
I'll break the tie. It was Monday. Sunday was the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. That was the NHL specialty. You had the whole day to put the game on a Sunday, and you plugged it right in 10 p.m. McDavid's last game of the season. For
what are they? What are the NHL? Like, what are they thinking by doing that? You want to market the league. You got the best player in the world. Hey, let's put him at 10 p.m.
2 players in the
Eastern
world.
time, Steve.
Yeah. It didn't make any sense. I understand the NBA had Game 7 Celtics Sixers at 3:30 p.m. So okay, fine. You don't want to compete with them in the afternoon, but put it at 8 o'clock.
I know
at the latest. You put it
Sunday,
at 10.
you know.
Yeah, and it's a Monday. It's a work day the next day too. So to me, it just didn't make any sense why the NHL would push that game to 10 p.m.
The sad part is Arizona not getting a new arena is getting more play than McDavid and Draisaitl in a game 6 against the Vegas Golden Knights. Anyway, let's transition. I saw you put a bet out there. You're fading Montour tonight. What's it, under points you got there?
Yeah, if you go to NorthStar Bets, you can get Brandon Montour to not score a point tonight at plus 132. He was a monster.
Stevie. No fun, Stevie.
No fun because, well, what do you think? We're in for a fun night. The game total is at 5.5. It's the Carolina Hurricanes. They've allowed the fewest goals of any team remaining in the playoffs. They're just locked down defensively. And the thing is with Montour is he was a monster during the Bruins series. Against the Maple Leafs, very quiet. He's pointless in his last 4 games. So I don't see where the Panthers explode for this big offensive night against Carolina.
What do you think of this number for the series? The Canes minus 136, Panthers plus 115. I think there's some serious value on Carolina here.
I like Carolina too. I think having a home ice advantage is huge for this Hurricanes team. We saw it last year where they went like 7-1 at home and they went 0-6 or 0-7 on the road. They could not buy a road win for their life. And that's kind of been status quo under Rod Brind'Amour in the playoffs. That even dates back to the previous year too. So I think having home ice advantage is going to be a big factor for Carolina in this series. And let's see, Florida upset Boston. That was fantastic. What a crazy upset. They not sweep the Leafs, but the gentleman sweep. They beat the Leafs in 5 games. But I don't know. I think this Carolina team is going to lock it down defensively. And we saw Matthew Tkachuk really not do a whole lot against the Maple Leafs. It's only going to get harder against the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Stevie, when you look at the Canes, they're also going to get Teuvo Teravainen back in the lineup. How do these guys do it? Because it's similar to Seattle or maybe even a Vegas, who they do it a lot by committee. Yeah, Vegas has got Jack Eichel, but there's not real one true superstar, number one guy with a bullet for with the Hurricanes. How do they have such continued playoff success every year?
I think kudos to Rod Brind'Amour. He gets the most out of these guys. If you watch the way they play, it's like 18 Rod Brind'Amours all over the ice. They play hard, they check, they battle, they don't quit on plays. And they've had every reason to quit. Andrei Svechnikov, one of their top goal scorers, done, not playing, not coming back for the postseason. He, tore his ACL. And then you had a guy like Max Pacioretty, a guy they were really banking on as one of their key offseason additions. He only ended up playing 5 games for the Canes due to injury. They just still find ways to win, and it's been by committee. One of the biggest unsung heroes for Carolina is Jordan Martinook. He's like a 4th liner who's stepping up, and he had a monstrous series against the New Jersey Devils. So it's just a team that they can count on contributions from all 4 lines, which gives them a little bit more leeway. Like you saw with the Maple Leafs, if their stars don't show, they're done. Carolina, not necessarily the case if they don't have an Aho big series or one of their big stars doesn't step up.
So, Stevie, for the Panthers, I think the obvious X factor has to be Sergei Bobrovsky, right? He's 7-2. He's been fantastic, 51 saves in that last game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I'm a bit concerned here. I mean, the Panthers do give up a ton of shots. I think you can say that the Leafs were unlucky in some games not to score more, like lots of posts, lots of crossbars, lots of really good chances. And I feel like that luck can only take a team so far. And for the Panthers, for me, to win this series, I think Bobrovsky might have to steal at least 2 games here.
Yeah, and I think it's funny when you look at the Conn Smythe odds. Right now, Matthew Tkachuk is the co-favorite over at NorthStar Bets. I think there's value if you're a believer in the Panthers. I mean, the blueprint for success is Bobrovsky really bailing them out, because it wasn't Tkachuk stealing the show in round 2. He had 5 assists, no goals. So I think when you look at it from Florida's standpoint, they're going to need Bobrovsky to be otherworldly once again. Yeah, you see there's the odds. Tkachuk and Eichel tied at the top. And it's really, in my opinion, Bobrovsky, if you're going to buy the Panthers and you want to get in on the Conn Smythe market, it's got to be Bobrovsky, because like a 943 save percentage in the last series against the Maple Leafs was just insane. And really, this is going to be a low-scoring series against Carolina. If they're going to win, they're not going to, go to the races and it's going to be shootouts every night where, you're scoring 4 or 5 goals against the Canes. Tkachuk's not going to have a gaudy point total. It's going to be because Bobrovsky outduels Frederik Andersen.
I love that.
Yeah. Stevie, when you look at the Western Conference Finals, you got the Vegas Golden Knights once again returning to a conference final. I think it's like the fourth time
in 6 seasons, man.
Absolutely astounding, especially for an expansion. Probably the greatest expansion team start we've ever really seen
since the Atlanta Flames.
Flames, yeah. But look, to the Stars' credit, though, they swept the Golden Knights this year in the regular season. When you look at this matchup between these two teams, what's the decisive factor that will separate one team from the other?
I think it's Jake Oettinger. If Oettinger returns to form, because let's be honest, he was a little shaky in that series against Seattle. If Oettinger returns to form, it's curtains for Vegas. They're not going to have as easy of a time scoring goals as they did last series. Stuart Skinner, I think he's got a good future in this league. He was a big letdown for the Oilers in the postseason. Sub 900 save percentage. Oettinger hasn't been great. He's got a 903 save percentage in the playoffs, but when you look at his career postseason total, 927. And we all saw what he did in that Game 7 against Seattle. When the door needed to be shut, Oettinger, he didn't let anything through. Not until like 17 seconds left in that game. So, in my opinion, I think you've seen Vegas already struggle against Dallas. They haven't, in the 3 regular season meetings, Vegas did not score more than 2 goals in any game. So, Oettinger, everything is lining up for him to be the X factor in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Both goalies. I mean, there's 3 goalies. It's Oettinger against Aiden Hill and Johnny Quick. Because if the Stars, which they can do, if they chase Hill, which means Quick has to come in, unless he turns back, 5 or 6 years, turns back the time, I think Vegas is in a lot of trouble. But you look at some of the scoring on Vegas, and Johnny Marchessault had a fantastic second round. 5 goals, 8 points, 34 shots, 27 scoring chances. Do you expect a similar output from him against Dallas?
No, like I said, they were like, the puck was like falling on his stick right in front of the goal line. Really like he was literally in that series. I just don't think it's going to be as easy against the Dallas defense, which is deeper than Edmonton's. And, everyone wanted to talk about Evan Bouchard, and he had a great postseason. There's still work that needs to be done on the defensive side of his game, in my opinion. I don't think that Edmonton D is nearly as deep as what Dallas can bring at you. And Oettinger's going to be a whole different can of worms. I understand that Vegas already dealt with a good goaltender in Connor Hellebuck, but this Dallas team is a lot more complete. And this is a Dallas team that's had their number, Vegas. Like I said, you don't score more than 2 goals in any game during the regular season, and you play 3 games. Not that the regular season is the end-all, be-all, but it's what we have to base this off of head-to-head. They did not show up in the regular season against Dallas.
Yeah, so I like the Stars here as well, and I think you can take them straight up to win the series, which is great. But what about plus 1.5 on the series spread for the Dallas Stars? I know it's minus 200. Do you think that's just too much juice to lay?
I think that's a little too much juice to lay. If I'm honest, I bet Dallas straight up to win in this series. I just think Vegas, whatever you saw against Edmonton, you're going to look back and say, you might say, oh, I wonder why the goals aren't coming like they were. It's because this is an entirely different beast, this Dallas team. I mentioned it before the Seattle series. If you want to play that high-scoring game, they have the offensive stars to do so. If you want to shut it down and you want to play a low-scoring 3-2-2-1 game, Dallas will meet you in the alleyway and play a tough game as well.
Stevie, what do you make of all 4 conference final teams being pretty much Southern teams, and how that's really, a testament to the growth of hockey or the growth of the NHL throughout the last 25 years?
Yeah, I read that Vegas is the northernmost team remaining of the 4. It blows your mind when Vegas is the most northern team left. But it's one of those things. The NHL wants to grow the game. I see people poo-pooing it like, oh, look, Gary Bettman must be so happy. It's all Southern teams and this and that. I'm thinking, like, why not? Like, you want to get fan bases engaged in hockey. You want hockey to matter. You want hockey to be on television screens more. What are the two things you need? You need your stars not playing at 10 p.m. on a Sunday. We got to work on that one. But two, you want markets that have previously not been exposed to hockey to feel what it's like to go on a long Stanley Cup final run. Because as fans of the game, nothing's better than watching your team play the semifinals, the Eastern Conference, Western Conference final, then to the Stanley Cup. Like, you build deep bonds and you build roots in the communities when you do that. So I think it's good to see these Southern teams getting a chance.
There's like 20 plus Canadians on this Vegas team, and I think 11 on Florida. So, I mean, a lot of Canadian in here.
But the other thing, Albert, is this, and Steve, if you want to chime in as well, if you look at it, the 3 of the 4 fan bases remaining in the playoffs are absolutely electric. Carolina,
hell yeah,
Vegas, and I was surprised at how electric
Stars
it is
are
in
great.
Dallas. The games are in
Oh,
Dallas,
yeah.
Stevie. So these are hockey markets. It just they don't get the notoriety or the publicity as hockey markets because they're more of a southern city in the United States.
We got to think about it too. We had a Panthers guy on here, Rod Peterson. And he was saying how the Panthers have maybe a pair of beat writers with the team. So I mean, it's not covered as well as some of the other teams in the NHL. Okay, let's transition quickly. We're running out of time to some Conn Smythe odds. I mean, at the top of the list, at least on NorthStar bets, you got Jack Eichel plus 750, who's been fantastic. You mentioned him. Matthew Tkachuk is up there as well. Anybody else you're looking at? I see one for myself, Stevie, and it's Rope Hintz. If the Stars go all the way, he's been fantastic. Second in scoring in the playoffs.
I like Hintz too. If you're buying Dallas, that's the guy I'd go. I know him and Ottinger are split right now, but Hintz, I mean, there's a legit chance he finishes the postseason as the leader in scoring. I mean, he's one behind McDavid, and McDavid's not playing again. So I like that. But my dark horse, the guy I've put money on, is Brent Burns at 20-1. I think that this guy's just not getting enough credit. He does it all at both ends of the ice for Carolina. He's tied for third on the team in points with 8. He leads them in minutes. He's got the highest Corsi for percentage among the defensemen. Like, he makes stuff happen still, and he logs crazy minutes for a 38-year-old. Like, usually when guys get to that stage of their career, they're a little bit more sheltered. They're playing like more 19 to 20 minutes a night. No, not Brent Burns. I got to give that guy credit. As a Barry man myself, I appreciate what this Barry guy is doing. And you know what? It not just because of that, but when you look at the full player and what he brings to that team, I think he's been a big reason why they've been able to get to the conference final, an improvement of where they finished last year.
There's something about those guys that come from San Jose. They just have extended careers. Patrick Marleau, Joe Thornton, Brent Burns now. Pavelski, right? These guys that come from San Jose, whatever it is over there, they can play a whole long time and be efficient.
Let me look at Pavelski's odds here if I can find them.
Yeah, Pavelski, I believe he was around plus 3,000 or 20-1.
I don't mind that. Yeah. I mean, he's been pretty good.
8 goals, I think he has already.
Yeah, I'm just looking at former Conn Smythe guys. The last 3: Cale Makar, defenseman; Vasilevsky, goalie; Hedman, defenseman. I mean, going defenseman is not a bad idea. Ryan O'Reilly on there, Ovechkin, Crosby. So it's the key guys, his goaltenders, and the best defenseman. So Brent Burns, I love that as well. We'll definitely sprinkle on it. Stevie P, thank you so much for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys, and hope all your bets are winners for the conference finals here.
Yes, thank you. Good luck to you as well. That's Steven Psihogios of NorthStar Bets.